piece of breaking news coming in. Is there a Pulwama link to the Delhi blast? This car was sold to a man in Pulwama. That man has now been identified as Tariq, a resident of Pulwama. And what you see on your screens right now is that individual, Tariq, on the day. And that, I believe, is the very car. This is massive. Earlier, remember, a man named Salman had been picked up and interrogated by the police. We had shown you the registration certificate of this vehicle, which was still registered in Salman's name. He said that I have sold off the car, but clearly the transfer did not take place on paper. But now this picture has emerged of this man called Tariq from Pulwama in Jammu and Kashmir. These dots now seem to be connected to each other. Interrogation of two men who were connected to the Anantnag terror module taking place to see if they are involved in the Delhi blast in any way. But this is going to be a very, very important piece of evidence. Let me bring in Aditya Raj call on this. A Pulwama link possible to the blast that took place in Delhi. Tariq in Pulwama. The first picture emerges of the very vehicle involved in this explosion with Tariq in the frame. Aditya.
Well, yes, it's a big development coming at this hour, Padmaja. We are breaking this first on NDTV that a man named Tariq was in fact owning that particular vehicle, and he hails from Pulwama in South Kashmir. Now, Pulwama unfortunately has been infamous for the 14th Feb terror attack that took place in 2019, killing more than 40 of our bravehearts of the CRPF. And Pulwama has been one of the major terror-infested regions in South Kashmir as well. Although today is a different story, but yet this could be an important piece of evidence, an important piece of chain and link that could lead to the masterminds of this possibly reportedly terror attack, if it is so, here outside the Red Fort in New Delhi. It's unprecedented. It hasn't been seen in the last 10 to 15 years. But if at all it's a terror attack, that certainly there should be alarm bells ringing, and investigative agencies are doing everything possible, even at this hour, at around 11:30 tonight, to see what really has happened out here. I'll ask Azam to pan and show you this location again. At 11:30 p.m. there are senior officers and heavy equipment that has been brought in here, right 100 to 200 meters away from where I'm standing right now. This is the location. In fact, there is a car that is situated there, completely mangled, completely, destroyed, that is being investigated further. On your screen right now is the exact location where this vehicle is. You can see on your screens, this is the vehicle where the blast took place. There are multiple casualties that have been reported, including 10 people killed and more than 20 injured. And all agencies in this particular area are trying to investigate further what really happened. Every piece of evidence is being taken into account. There is sophisticated equipment that has been brought in by the NSG, the NIA, and the Delhi Police Special Cell to investigate each and every mangled piece of evidence, every possible chemical that they find in this vicinity of the Subhash Chowk area where the blast has taken place. So the latest coming in, it's been few hours since the blast took place, but as of now, every possible detail is being investigated, even as new leads break here on NDTV. As we keep our viewers ahead on the latest breaking news situation, we are learning that the key element of the car, while it was owned by a different person called Salman, it was sold to a person called Tariq from Pulwama in South Kashmir, and that could be possibly a crucial investigation link that the investigative agencies will be investigating further, and perhaps they could also seek help from the Jammu and Kashmir police to investigate further and perhaps see if they need to detain immediately some people in Pulwama or in Jammu and Kashmir.
Vishnu, bringing you in on this as well. This is a massive, massive lead. This car sold to a man named Tariq in Pulwama, and now a picture, the first picture perhaps that, and the only one now that we'll have of this actual car which is believed to be involved in the Delhi blast. The same registration number, the man who bought it in Pulwama, Tariq, posing with it on the day that he bought it.
जारी है और जिस तरीके से लगातार जो है तमाम दिन सामने आएंगे तो पूरी कड़ियां जो है आपस में That's right, but again, we need to treat this information with a little bit of caution. In as much as there appears to be a link, just because it was sold to a person in Pulwama doesn't mean that that man is necessarily a terrorist. We don't have the links to that as yet. Pulwama obviously is something which resides in our consciousness because of the horrific 2019 terror attack in which 40 CRPF Jawans were killed in one of the worst blasts, which was triggered by a massive explosion using improvised explosive devices. But what we do know is a couple of threads at this juncture. The first piece of information was the original owner of the car. That original owner of the car said that he didn't have the car anymore, that he sold it to somebody in Okla. It now appears that one of the people who eventually owned that car is a person who is from Pulwama. Now, being from Pulwama doesn't mean that you're a terrorist. It is obviously an angle that needs to be explored. But it is an important development, I would suggest, an important critical piece of information, but not one on which we should necessarily draw any conclusions at the moment unless there is more information which comes our way.
Absolutely. Nobody is drawing any conclusions, but this is just the chain of events, just the information that is coming out so far. What do we know so far about this particular car? This Haryana registration car initially was owned by Salman. The registration certificate still bears his name and address. However, when Salman was questioned, he said that I sold it off to another person. Now it emerges that this car has also been in the ownership of a man named Tariq, and you have an actual picture of this man with the car in question. He belongs to Pulwama in Jammu and Kashmir. Now again, the main question will be, did Tariq then sell it onwards to somebody else? Could it have been stolen? Was it stolen and used for this crime? That loop needs to be closed, and for that, all of these people will have to be questioned. Did it change hands any further? While it may have been taken by somebody else, it may even have been borrowed by somebody else, but it's also important to remember that as far as the RC is concerned, it is still in the name of Salman, the man who has been questioned by the police, by the investigators. Any more details that you are picking up, Aditya, of the investigation as it goes on?
But the investigation is continuing at this particular stage. What we are learning is that multiple teams continue to monitor the situation right now, and they are trying to see, if they can find any explosive devices or any chemicals in this area, if at all there was any kind of a plastic chemical that was used in this area. I'll ask Azam to pan and show you the exact location where the investigations continue. Even at this time, it's around 11:40 p.m. tonight. It's been a few hours ever since this blast took place in this area. On your screens right now, you can see again, the entire area has been sanitized completely. There are no people, no vehicular movement in this area. You can see the Subhash Chowk red light area where the blast took place. There are forensic teams now trying to investigate every possible angle of this particular car. You can see people in white clothes, in using different techniques and equipments, trying to investigate further what really happened here. As I said, it's a long night for them, but a crucial lead could be the car owner. If it is indeed from Pulwama, then certainly it could be a major breakthrough for the investigative agencies. But we're expecting an official statement perhaps by morning to give us an update on what really happened out here. Unfortunately, more than 10 people losing their lives and more than 20 injured. Unprecedented visuals, and each and every force really contributing in whatever way they can to investigate this further. You can see this entire area is being videographed also. There are teams of the FSL, the NIA, and
the FSL, the NIA and the NSG. They are trying to photograph and videograph the entire car that has been recovered, whatever remains of that particular car, and multiple other vehicles where the blast took place. So they will try to find out whether they can find any chemicals or traces of any blast material. or explosives in that entire area. As of now, the investigations only continue. The vehicles that have been completely destroyed and dismantled in this area haven't been taken away. Unfortunately, there have been very gory visuals that we witnessed of human flesh all across because the kind of casualties that took place were really unprecedented, that haven't been seen here in Delhi in many years. I have come across blasts that happened in 2005, 2008 and even 2011, but in many years in Delhi we haven't seen such kind of a blast. And here right behind me, the investigations only continue. It will be a long night, it will be a long day tomorrow for the investigative agencies to piece together what really has happened, whether this has a link with Faridabad case as well, the terror conspiracy that was unearthed, and the 2,900 kgs of ammonium nitrate and explosives that was unearthed. Certainly a major development. This is the mangled piece of that vehicle, a car that is lying here. All across there is human flesh that is lying, and mangled vehicles all across this particular area. So it's been a very stressful period also for the police and the locals who are living in this area, who had never expected this, because it's a very popular tourist destination. On one hand, the Red Fort, on the other hand, the Chandni Chowk and the Gauri Shankar Mandir. Every possible day, there are thousands of people who throng here just to get a glimpse of the beautiful New Delhi, India's national capital. But today, India's national capital standing in solidarity with victims of this tragedy that has happened. And even now, there are unanswered questions for the investigative agencies to solve this mystery as to what led to this blast. And perhaps the next few hours would be very crucial for them to unearth this mystery.